Welcome to Panda Tale. I hope you have a great time listening to the story. If you enjoy it, don't forget to give me a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. General Marcus Ashford returns home, bringing with him a woman. I can't take it anymore. After 3 military campaigns, he brings back 3 different women. Is he going to war or collecting women? When Marcus returned from his first campaign, he brought back a delicate woman. Emma is my true love. If she doesn't marry me, Victoria Sterling, let's divorce. Emma Brooks nestled in Marcus's arms, looking at him. She spoke softly, looking pitiful. Am I about to be kicked out of the house? Then let's divorce. I accepted the divorce papers, patted my bottom, stood up and walked around the magnificent Ashford mansion. Each item, each piece, my rosewood bed, my Suzhou embroidered screen, my carved flower chair, my zither. I slowly walked up to the 2 of them and pointed at the grand red painted iron door. Mine too. Marcus frowned. Are you going crazy? When did the Ashford family's main door become yours? Emma echoed him. Seizing the husband's family property. How shameless. I laughed. Marcus, open your dog eyes wide and look carefully. When I married into this family, did your door look like this? Marcus stared at the main door, his brows furrowed so tightly they could catch a fly. I kindly helped him remember. Your old door was broken and crooked, wind blowing through the cracks. This is the iron door I paid a fortune to have craftsmen forge and paint red. Everything in this house, from large furniture like beds, tables, and chairs to small items like pots and pans. If they're not from my dowry, then I bought them with my dowry money. So you lift your leg and pee to mark territory, wanting to seize everything. I looked at Emma, her face pale. And you? Sorry, this door is mine. Finally, it was Lady Margaret Ashford who decided to let her enter through the back door, in a small sedan chair as a concubine. Lady Margaret comforted me. Emma saved Marcus's life and is carrying his child. After all, it's the Ashford family's flesh and blood. I can't let the baby be born without status. The old lady's words shifted, her eyes showing reproach. It's also because you've been married a year with no movement in your belly. I couldn't help but touch my stomach. At that time, I received news that my husband's life and death were unknown. I was terrified, yet I ate 3 roasted pig trotters in succession to suppress my fear, ate thorn cakes to relieve the graziness, drank pear soup to quench my thirst, and braised beef to satisfy my cravings. With my round belly, I rubbed it with a sad smile, staggering away, leaving Lady Margaret standing there stunned. That evening, I curled up in my blanket, munching on spicy chicken feet while reading romance novels. The bright candlelight was suddenly blocked by someone. Marcus stood by the bed. Victoria, Mother has already told me. We have no children yet, we can have more. After all, the Ashford family needs a legitimate son. As he spoke, he moved closer, his warm hands reaching for my waist. I deliberately acted coy, kicked hard with my foot, and grabbed a jade pillow to throw at him. With a thud, Marcus fell face first, nose bleeding, seeing stars. He gritted his teeth, glaring at me. Victoria, you dare hit your husband? I slowly raised my face. Marcus's expression froze when he saw my face with tears streaming down my nose, red, cheeks stained with tears from the spicy chicken. I sniffled, choking up. Only now you remember me. It's too late. When you and Emma were being lovey-dovey, did you ever think of me? Over 300 days and nights, I slept alone with only the cold moonlight before my bed for company, and my 120 shops from my dowry. Marcus turned and went to Emma's bed. The next day, Emma swaggered up to me, showing off. Some people, even if they beg the old lady for permission, don't have the ability to keep their husband for even one night. She looked me up and down, speaking sarcastically. Madam dressed so grandly today, I'm afraid it's still useless effort. My lord won't even look at you. Hearing this, I looked down to check grand. Just ordinary Sichuan silk dress with jade belt and embroidered shoes from my shop, jade hairpin and pearl necklace, gold earrings, all ordinary items from my jewelry shop, perfumed hair oil, powder and rouge, all ordinary products from my cosmetics shop. I unconsciously glanced at Emma in her old faded pink dress, plain silver hairpin without any style. Emma, as if stung by my gaze, jumped up. You're just a bit rich and lost your husband's heart. What use is the title of legal wife? Who cares? As if he were the emperor. I couldn't be bothered. My maid Rose stepped forward. Miss, the carriage is ready. I nodded, patted my bottom, stood up and left. I knew it. You dressed up so gaudily just to go out and have affairs with wild men. Rose stepped forward and slapped her. The princess is hosting a tea party for the ladies and young misses. My lady received an invitation to attend. We don't have time for your nonsense. Speak carelessly again. Emma held her face. You're just a maid and you dare hit me. She turned to me. Since it's inviting ladies, why didn't I receive an invitation? Are you hiding it? I was extremely surprised. A lowly concubine of merchant status, on par with servants. You think you're something. Still expecting an invitation. The ladies and young misses in the capital love hosting parties, when free, sometimes flower viewing, sometimes grass viewing. Today's theme is insect viewing. The minister's second daughter faced a garden full of butterflies, gently reciting a poem. I was so bored I yawned widely. After she finished, everyone applauded. Wonderful. Another one. The second daughter smiled proudly, her eyes sweeping the crowd. Suddenly staring at me with my mouth wide open. This must be Lady Ashford. I heard General Ashford return to the capital bringing a pregnant woman. I startled awake, putting on a professional smile. Yes, that's right. What can I do for you, Lady Evelyn? Lady Evelyn covered her mouth laughing. I always thought General Ashford was dignified and from an upright family. Now it seems he's just a philanderer, unworthy of his wife. Oh my, she actually spoke 36 words to me in one breath. What an honor. You see, these noble ladies in the capital always look down on merchants reeking of money, and also despise the declining Ashford family. They only invited me out of respect for the Ashford ancestors' former glory. Really just going through the motions. Before marrying Marcus, I was determined to build my career, enter high society, dominate the luxury market, and become the merchant queen in one step. After a year of effort, I got stuck at the first step. Clinging to skirts for a whole year. Today someone actually initiated conversation with me. I was moved to tears, enthusiastically grabbing Lady Evelyn's hand. Exactly. Lady Evelyn is so perceptive, with such unique taste. Lady Evelyn tried to pull her hand back but couldn't, her face stiff. Madam, please observe propriety. The minister's wife covered her mouth laughing. Which man isn't lustful? Lady Ashford just doesn't have the ability to keep her husband. I never expected such a beautiful Lady Ashford would lose to a country bumpkin from the border. I was extremely shy. Oh, am I beautiful? Thank you for the compliment, ladies. This lively conversation attracted many ladies' gazes. Even Princess Catherine looked over. I suddenly became the center of attention, my heart inexplicably itchy, and I had a brilliant idea. Indeed, as the ladies said, the border has harsh winds and sun. Most women there are rough, dark, and cracked. Yet this country miss has something special that captured Marcus's heart. Few women don't like beauty. Ladies and young misses, please listen carefully. I smiled mysteriously. The sterling merchant caravans crossed mountains and forests in the distant western regions and discovered a miraculous plant, aloe vera. It can moisturize and beautify, remove spots. Even if hung at the city gate under the sun for 3 days and nights, the skin remains smooth and fair. Genuine aloe vera. Come to Sterling Cosmetics to buy today for 20% off. I signed the first major order from noble families, walking on air with joy. Indeed, all beginnings are difficult. Aloe vera had been on display for 3 months with no one asking about it. The first sale actually led to continuous sales. I smiled from ear to ear, taking out the account books to admire 10 times daily. Today I was checking accounts with the steward when Emma swayed past, then backed up, covering her mouth in shock. Is Madam openly keeping male companions in the main courtyard? I glanced at her, too lazy to care. The young, handsome steward blushed silently. Emma said disdainfully, even if not favored by her husband, Madam shouldn't degrade herself looking for a poor pretty boy in white wandering around. Such a shabby appearance, how embarrassing for Madam. The steward wore a white silk robe with silver embroidery, both elegant and modest. We looked at each other in silence. Emma laughed. Buying some decent clothes wouldn't cost much silver. The other day Marcus took me to Sterling Tailor's to pick lots of clothes and embroidered shoes, only spending over 100 taels of silver. The steward glanced at her, took the tailor shop ledger and flipped a few pages. June 9th, 1 yellow gosling short jacket, 1 pair of turquoise embroidered shoes, recorded as 119 taels 3 coins. Oh, someone actually bought that tomato and egg-colored outfit from my shop that I've despised for months. Worth celebrating. Emma glared, then touched the gold bracelet on her wrist. Yesterday Marcus gave me this gold bracelet worth 300 taels of silver. The steward squinted to examine it, then took the jewelry shop ledger. June 10th, copper gold-plated cloud pattern bracelet, recorded as 25 taels 7 coins. I leisure-clicked the abacus beads. Emma huffed. Today, he bought me crab soup dumplings for 1 tael of silver. The steward was silent for a moment, then said quietly to me, "Our shops don't sell that." I put down the abacus angrily. What? Letting fat fall into the cat's mouth. Stop the Ashford household allowance immediately. What status does she have to use my money? I don't know what trouble Emma caused Marcus, but at midnight Marcus came to find me with a face full of scratches, looking gloomy. "Victoria, who allowed you to stop the household money?" I put down my novel. "My money, I use it however I want. What business is it of yours? You want to freeload?" Marcus's face darkened. "If I didn't value your business talent, you think a merchant woman like you could enter the Ashford family's grand door? Stingy over a bit of silver, what use are you staying in the Ashford family? I'll write divorce papers right now." "Fine." I slowly pulled out a stack of letters. "Princess Catherine wants to come for tea. I'm worried the Ashford garden isn't spacious enough. Oh, and the minister's legitimate daughter. The vice minister's wife." I flipped through each letter. The nobles Marcus once craved were now actively extending olive branches to me. I thought Marcus would be angry, but unexpectedly, he looked at me affectionately. "We've been married a year, yet Lady Evelyn still remembers me. She's truly devoted. If my family hadn't declined back then. So Lady Evelyn had once blindly fancied him. No wonder she's hostile to me. Fortunately, this became my opportunity." Marcus, lost in memories, rambled on for a long time. I picked my ear, feeling like I heard something dirty. Laughing, Phoenix looked down at me condescendingly. "Now I have some official merit. Just right to divorce you and marry Lady Evelyn." My hand froze. What? Couldn't believe Lady Evelyn didn't want to see him. She came to buy cosmetics from me for the palace selection. You're thick-skinned to think a minor captain deserves the legitimate daughter. Marcus choked, his face turning red, then green, then white. He flicked his sleeve and left angrily. I leisurely picked up my novel. I anxiously put down the novel, whistled for Rose, told her to follow Marcus. What novel could compare to real-life drama? Rose meticulously recounted everything. Marcus carried a wine jar, staggering back to Emma's courtyard, mumbling, "The Ashford ancestors were once noble, producing 8 prime ministers. Princesses competed to marry in. Why has it declined to this in my generation? These lowly people all look down on me with their dog eyes." Emma, with her pregnant belly, went to support him. Marcus grabbed her tightly. "Emma, only you don't despise my poverty. You truly love me, Emma." Marcus said emotionally, "Others may be rich and noble, but in the end have nothing. We have true love like gold. Emma, they have gold." Marcus frowned. "Emma, don't tell me you also despise our poverty and look down on me." Emma quickly shook her head. "How could that be? Being with my lord, even if we have to wander the 4 directions, I'm willing. I just feel bad for our child." Emma rubbed her belly, tears flowing. Born as an illegitimate child of a concubine, eating chaff and swallowing vegetables from the womb, never enjoying fortune for a day. Madam eats bird's nest and shark fin daily but won't share a bite with your child. Marcus hugged her. "If you give birth to a son, mother will love her grandson and might agree to make you equal wife. That Victoria has no children, won't her fortune eventually be our child's? When I return from the battlefield with military merit, I'll definitely make you shine with glory. Emma said shyly, swords have no feelings. I can't bear for you to risk danger. Marcus said firmly, when I was lowly, you chose me. I must prove you chose the right person. Emma, I'll never fail you in this lifetime. A year later, he returned from campaign bringing a second woman. Sophia is my true love. If she won't marry me, Victoria, let's divorce. Marcus spoke grandly. Sophia stood beside him, looking at me straightforwardly. Fine, I'll pack up and leave. I lazily stood up and walked around the Ashford mansion for the second time. My red sandalwood gold bed, my crystal glass screen, my cloud pattern 5 blessing black lacquered gold chair. I walked up to them, snapping my fingers on the carved golden pillars. Also mine. Sophia said loudly. Marcus and I share life and death, deep friendship. Whether mansion or thatched hut, I'll be with him. I was surprised by her straightforward manner and looked at her differently. Marcus was also surprised, examining his home, joyfully saying, why has everything in the house changed? And it's so luxurious. Has my wife earned a lot this year? Hearing this, my wife, I immediately felt disgusted, but remembering this year's income, I couldn't help feeling proud. Initially, Lady Evelyn followed my advice, buying perfume and fresh flowers for the palace selection. She emitted rich fragrance, attracting butterflies. The emperor was delighted and made her consort Luna. Among all the selected ladies, only she received a title, standing out. Sterling Cosmetics also became famous, sought after by ladies and young misses. Whether wanting favor, catching eyes, or simply loving beauty, they bought aloe vera, various perfumes, various temporary tattoos, desperately beautifying themselves. Those who didn't want to bought butterfly-shaped hairpins, moth necklaces, butterfly earrings, deliberately scaring others into chaos. Even the emperor suffered. Before mid-autumn palace banquet, Lady Evelyn sent me another letter. She said all the consorts had unique skills, singing, dancing, playing instruments, sword dancing. She only knew poetry recitation and playing music, terribly boring with nothing outstanding. She wanted to learn singing but couldn't lose face, afraid the minister would scold her. She wanted me to help her. I eagerly agreed, such a good promotional opportunity. I racked my brains for days, finally designing her a special outfit for the palace banquet. Lady Evelyn wore a silver, white long dress, carrying a 7-string zither, gracefully walking over. The zither body was transparent like crystal, the strings glittering silver under moonlight. Transparent and pure, not like a mortal object but something used by immortals. She played a melodious tune, truly like a celestial maiden, cool, ethereal, incomparably beautiful, not losing the dignity of a minister's daughter while making the emperor unable to look away, enchanted. The next day after the palace banquet, while officials and nobles in the capital were still regretting, Sterling Crystal Shop grandly opened. There were transparent zethers, translucent paper, gorgeous frames. Young masters couldn't walk away after one look. Also transparent bowls, bright windows, glittering jewelry. Ladies and young misses couldn't look away either. The nobles threw money like water, quickly buying out the shop. Craftsmen worked overtime producing but still couldn't meet demand. I had to build a factory in the suburbs, hire more workers to barely satisfy customer demands. Business thrived, my enterprises grew daily. Looking back at Marcus's happy face, I couldn't help smiling. Yes, earned quite a bit, but it's all Sterling family assets, nothing to do with the Ashfords. Marcus laughed awkwardly. I'm your husband, isn't your money my money? Now I'm a 4th-rank general. With my protection your business will grow even more. And I'll use the money to grease palms in court. Maybe I'll get promoted. Isn't that perfect for both? I picked my ear. Seems I just heard about divorce. Marcus quickly waved his hands. How could that be? My wife is so resourceful. I treasure you endlessly. How could we divorce? This Sophia saved my life. If my wife agrees, promote her to equal wife. If not, concubine is fine. I couldn't help clapping. Saved again, how strange. You're a great man fighting on distant battlefields for years without any notable military achievements, only getting saved by women all day. Can't live without women. I looked him up and down. Others only have one wife, only you want two. What, you have 3 heads and 6 arms. 2 of those, just 1 head and 2 hands, yet dreaming of enjoying a blessed life with multiple wives. Being insulted like this, Marcus's blood rushed to his head. He furiously slapped the pillar. It shook and a piece of gold fell off. He stared at it dumbfounded, his anger choked back. So in his anger, he turned to Sophia angrily. Sophia, you've made my wife unhappy. Be a concubine then. Sophia was puzzled. You promised to make me legal wife before I agreed to return to the capital with you. Now you change your mind. What grounds do I have to agree? Marcus sneered. Being concubine to a 4th-rank general, how many compete for it? I value you, it's your fortune. If you leave me, where can you go? Doing odd jobs in the capital, the silver you earn can't even rent a place as big as a pigpen. Sophia said firmly. I'll return to the border then. Heaven and earth are vast, where can't accommodate me. I didn't expect this lady to be so tough, very much to my taste. I smiled appreciatively. Marcus saw my smile and blushed, thinking I was mocking him for not even being able to keep a woman. He gritted his teeth, extremely disappointed looking at Sophia. Sophia, I thought you valued me as a person. Turns out you just want the position of legal wife. You're just like those other women craving wealth and status. I misjudged you. Sophia anxiously said, That's not it. When I saved you, I didn't know you were from the Ashford family. Marcus lowered his head disappointedly, speaking softly. Then why won't you marry me? I don't know how Marcus persuaded her. But anyway, Sophia agreed to be a noble concubine. Another small sedan chair entered through the back door. On the wedding night, I excitedly prepared 5 spiced sunflower seeds, salted peanuts, and sweet fruit wine, listening to Rose tell stories. Just as Marcus and Sophia were embracing on the bed with red candles, being tender and affectionate, Emma burst through the door. Her eyes were red, crying pitifully, Marcus, you're back. I've waited so miserably. Since you left, I couldn't eat or sleep well, hoping day and night. Never thought I'd hear news of you taking another concubine. You once said you'd promote me to equal wife. Said you'd never fail me in this lifetime. Turns out it was all fake. Marcus saw her appearance and was stunned. You're Emma. Not seeing her for a year, she'd become much rounder, not looking like someone who couldn't eat or sleep well. Emma completely lost her former delicate manner. Her face was swollen with freckles all over, her whole body fat by a circle. Hearing this, she shrank back into the shadows of the candlelight. It's like the red candle shedding tears. I was pregnant for 10 months because of you, enduring all hardships to become like this. When giving birth, I walked through death's door. Fortunately, the baby was born healthy and looks like father. Marcus, look quickly. Marcus heard this and couldn't help being overjoyed, quickly embracing the child. I have a son. The Ashford family has an heir. Emma's voice was weak. It's a daughter. Marcus's face immediately turned cold, pulling his hand back. Emma wasn't prepared and almost dropped the baby. She quickly hugged her daughter, who started crying loudly. Marcus frowned coldly. So annoying. Already born a useless daughter and still bringing her to see me. Adding bad luck on a happy day. This ugly appearance cyanized me. Get out. Emma cried. I was once young and beautiful too. Now you humiliate me like this for this cheap concubine. Sophia said seriously. Mark, I'm not a cheap condit in agreement. Sophia is my lifesaver. A noble concubine. Not like you. Emma looked at Sophia with bitter eyes. You're so proud, aren't you? Let me tell you, I saved him too. I also made eternal vows with him. Now I've fallen to this fate. You think you can escape later? Sophia tensed up. Marcus hugged her tightly, shouting, How dare a cheap person like you compare with Sophia? Before marriage you did dirty things, hiding your pregnancy to force me into marriage. Sophia is a pure lady I truly love. I'll definitely never fail her in this lifetime. Sophia relaxed, looking at Emma with contempt. Emma cried and laughed crazily, muttering, Good, never fail in this lifetime, never fail in this lifetime. The next morning, Emma came to my courtyard down. Madam, please be magnanimous. Emma is willing to be a servant to serve by Madam's side. I didn't understand. I'm neither magnanimous nor do I want you. Emma said nothing, just kowtowed hard. The hard stone slab resounded from her knocking. I admit my heart ached. Truly worthy of being my opponent for a year, knowing my weakness, I worriedly said, "Stop knocking. What if you break it?" This stone slab cost thousands of taels of silver. Emma got her wish and became my servant, no longer opposing me. Sophia had just entered the family, filial and understanding, keeping quiet and obedient. Definitely plotting something. This concubine being so silent must be scheming. Sophia didn't know what tricks she was playing. Monthly allowance of 2 taels, she didn't use it, just wanted to save up. Fruits and pastries provided, she didn't eat, just wanted plain porridge and vegetables. Clothes tailored for her, she didn't wear, just wanted to cut and sew herself. Getting up early every day while still dark, busily washing vegetables, cooking, mending, washing and hanging clothes. The beautiful flowers in the courtyard were all pulled out by her to plant cabbage and raise chickens and ducks. Clucking all day, chicken droppings everywhere. After finishing, still had to clean up the droppings, collecting daily to fertilize vegetables. So chickens eat cabbage, cabbage feeds chickens. Sophia worked day and night until she couldn't straighten her back. One day passing by my courtyard, she glanced over with wide eyes. I sat on the swing leisurely eating snacks and reviewing account books. On the stone table before me were 5 or 6 types of snacks messily arranged. Around me were 4 or 5 beautiful maids, one holding an umbrella, one fanning, one peeling grapes, one shelling seeds. There was also a male servant with refined features and sturdy build roasting lamb on an iron rack. Sophia strode forward. "Madam is really showing off, even clouding our husbands' eyes. The ancients said wives should regard husbands as heaven. Madam acting like this goes against heaven's way, unworthy of the position. Better let me be legal wife." Emma, who was shelling seeds, suddenly stopped and rushed up to slap her twice. "Don't be rude before Madam." Then, while Sophia hadn't reacted, she immediately ran back to my side, lowered her head and continued shelling seeds. Rose, who was peeling grapes, secretly asked if that felt good. Emma nodded repeatedly. "Felt amazing." Sophia was slapped dizzy, incredulous. "Madam, you just let a servant hit me." I hadn't fought in so long I was itchy, excitedly saying, "First, don't worry about that. You say I lack virtue, unworthy of position, where exactly?" Sophia was diverted by me, forgetting about being hit. She confidently answered, "Madam doesn't show filial piety to mother-in-law. Unlike me, who massages shoulders and serves tea to mother-in-law daily, but she spends my money." Sophia choked, continuing, "Madam doesn't care for husband. Unlike me, who daily serves husband washing face, rinsing mouth, changing clothes," I said. "But he spends my money." Sophia was a bit annoyed. "Madam doesn't fulfill wifely duties, unlike me wholeheartedly wanting to bear sons for the Ashford family, to birth a chubby boy," I said. "But children spend my money." Sophia was very dissatisfied. "Does Madam only know money? Madam is so wasteful, needing 4 or 5 people to serve daily. Even with mountains of gold and silver, it'll be spent eventually." I immediately denied it. "I'm very frugal." Seeing her disbelief, I said seriously, "For example, there's one beauty who makes tea for Marcus during the day and washes my feet at night. One person, 2 jobs, very economical." Sophia froze, seeming to think of something. Her face turned deathly pale, retching several times. I admired her changing expressions while popping a grape in my mouth. Sophia saw this and jumped up. "Madam has so many fruits. Eat them all." I heard the small kitchen of the main courtyard uses lard for frying vegetables and over 10 types of spices for braising meat. Even royal relatives aren't so wasteful. Farmers work so hard growing crops and raising pigs and chickens. Has Madam ever sympathized? I tilted my head. "That's why I spend money to buy. Farmers earn silver, I satisfy cravings, beauties get extra meals. Besides, you, who's dissatisfied," I calmly said. "I heard you stopped supplying fruits and pastries to the concubine quarters." The old fruit seller worried so much he got mouth sores, asking if there was something wrong with his fruits. "Why aren't you buying any more?" Losing this order, he can only peddle on the streets, working harder. Not to mention lots gonna waste unsold. You think? Saving a bit of loose change makes you proud, but others lose their livelihood. I shook my head, wanting to be mistress of the house yet stingy over this bit of silver, truly laughable. Today refusing fruits, tomorrow exempting clothes, day after reducing year-end bonuses. Marcus turning sallow and thin, wearing patched clothes to work. What will others think? Not enough bonus money. How can he sail smoothly in officialdom like that? So embarrassing. Princess Catherine and the ladies are coming soon. You better not go out and embarrass us. Sophia's face turned deathly pale, soul flying away in fear. She left. Today's banquet was special. On the table wasn't tea and pastries but a whole roasted lamb. Princess Catherine sat majestically, using a knife to cut a piece of lamb, dipping it in sauce and putting it in her mouth, so comfortable she squinted. Second sister isn't here. Not having to hear her recite poetry is really comfortable. The vice minister's wife ate small bites, laughing. The Ashford family really is wealthy. Lady Sterling is indeed the richest merchant in the capital. Just a pity General Ashford is blind, abandoning a money tree to take a crude countrywoman from the southern border as concubine. Really polluting the Ashford family tradition. I ate the delicious meat heartily. Since business prospered and I mingled more with the ladies, my status in noble circles also rose with the tide. Even the vice minister's wife was willing to praise me a few sentences. I felt elated listening. The minister's younger daughter said quietly, "Lady Sterling, after all you're not the emperor, not nobler than commoners by much. I heard the southern elephant kingdom outside the southern border produces lots of jade and gems. During tribute, they all pass through the southern border. Those tributes Lady Sterling has never seen, but southern border women view as ordinary." I sneered. Ever since the minister's daughter entered the palace, with my help becoming consort Luna and standing out at the palace banquet, this younger daughter went crazy with jealousy. Whenever there's a chance, she mocks me a few sentences. But when my shop launches new products, she's the first to rush over and buy, paying without hesitation. I both love and hate her. I could only play deaf and dumb, not bothering with her. Princess Catherine slapped the table. Southern Elephant Kingdom appears to pay tribute on the surface, but harbors ill intentions inside. They often kidnap people from the southern border, chopping hands and feet with cruel methods, causing panic among the people. Every time the emperor mentions this, he frowns tightly, wishing he could kill them all. But Southern Elephant Kingdom has strong soldiers and generals. Our kingdom can hardly resist. The southern border people live in extreme misery. With such a heavy topic, the atmosphere at the banquet sank. I quickly smiled and poured wine. "Ladies, would you like to try the new wine from my tavern? It's brewed from southern border honey, with improved techniques, sweet and smooth, easy to drink with long-lasting aftertaste. We drink some sweet wine to relax our minds, while southern border people can earn some silver. Win-win situation, right?" The ladies gave me face, picking up the wine and taking a sip, looking delighted. "This wine is really good. So sweet, not too intoxicating." I smiled. "This wine is called golden wine, sold at Sterling Tavern. Following old rules, 20% off for the first 3 days." This sweet wine unexpectedly sold so well, raw materials quickly ran out. I went to Southern Elephant Kingdom to buy at high prices. The winery was built in the southern city to avoid trouble on the road. I worried that enterprises not under my direct supervision would have oversights, so I decided to personally go south for inspection. When doing the head count, Sophia came forward hesitantly. "Can Madam take this concubine along?" I didn't even think. Sophia, unconvinced, pointed at Emma. "Why can she go?" Emma excitedly rolled up her sleeves, glaring, waiting for her to be impudent. Sophia carefully retreated 2 steps and shut her mouth. Emma felt bored, pouted. "Now I'm Madam's person. I don't fight with you over our husband. Yet you fight with me over Madam. Is that reasonable?" Sophia said nothing more and left silently. Unexpectedly that night, Marcus came back drunk, reeking of alcohol. He collapsed on the bed shouting for Sophia to change his clothes. called until hoarse, but no one came. He thought I was imprisoning her. Angrily rushed to the main courtyard to interrogate, only to discover the main courtyard had long been empty. Only one servant was sweeping the yard, using a broom to sweep him out. My mistress went out to relax. Outsiders shouldn't enter. Move aside, I need to lock the door. I had just gotten off the carriage at the inn when I saw Sophia dressed as a maid. I couldn't help but be speechless, calmly saying, "Since you're here, pay your own expenses and take responsibility yourself." Sophia nodded repeatedly, looking around surprised at the scenery. Emma and the other beauties, seeing the vast lake and riverside willows, also showed joy and surprise. I had the carriage slow down, leading these beauties who'd never traveled far. Going for a stretch and stopping frequently, it took 3 months to reach Southtown. Unfortunately, several counties in Southtown encountered drought and crop failure. Farmers' stored grain was exhausted, forcing them to migrate to cities. My carriage traveling on the road was blocked by a group of refugees. "Master, madam, please give us some buns. My family hasn't eaten for 3 days." They pulled their children to kneel and kowtow. This was dirt road, not stone slabs from my home, so I didn't feel bad. I lifted the carriage curtain and instructed, "Don't bother, keep going." Sophia, following the carriage, hesitated. "These people are so thin and pitiful." I said coldly, "Hurry up." Sophia said, dissatisfied, "Madam doesn't lack this bit of food. This child could live a few more days, such a bargain. Buddha says saving one life is better than building 7 pagodas. Madam watching death without helping, aren't you afraid of future retribution? Madam is rich but heartless, I'm not." Sophia took items from her bag. "Everyone eat these cakes first. If not enough, I have a few taels of loose silver." The refugees, seeing money, had red eyes, rushing forward shouting, "Thank you, miss. Thank you, miss. Miss is truly Bodhisattva manifested saving people. Save thoroughly, give us your hairpin too. My family can eat meat buns for days, and the earrings too." Sophia was knocked to the ground by refugees. All valuables on her body were stripped clean before the refugees dispersed. She sat dazed on the ground, hair disheveled, clothes dirty. I lifted the carriage curtain to look at her. "Satisfied now? Let's go." Sophia argued, "I only lost jewelry but saved several children's lives, accumulating considerable karma, unlike Madam being so immoral." That night I heard Sophia crying inconsolably in the next room all night. She didn't have many jewelry pieces total, all bought when becoming a concubine. Now losing everything, how could she not feel heartache? I found it unbearable listening. So I changed her to a room further away so I wouldn't hear. The next day I arrived at the winery in the suburbs for inspection. The large factory area was divided into over 10 workshops by production process. Each workshop had about 100 people. On the other side were dozens of thatched huts built, with about 100 people mixing mud to build houses. At noon the factory area began distributing meals. Workers came out in turn to receive food. Each person got a bowl of thick millet porridge, a plate of stir-fried vegetables, a boiled egg, and a bowl of bone soup. Their clothes, though old and torn, their eyes were bright, faces cheerful. The young steward finished reporting, looking at the crowded canteen, couldn't help but sigh. These refugees were previously haggard and miserable. Recently their spirits are much better. If not for Miss giving them work and providing food and lodging, how could these refugees have such good days? Sophia looked amazed. These people have such strong bodies, yet they're refugees. She then realized those people yesterday didn't work, only knew to beg. Weren't they just lazy freeloaders? I said, satisfied. Previously to curry favor with the Southtown prefect, I donated 100,000 bushels of millet, and also built Southtown Orphanage. Only when Southtown isn't chaotic can we do business peacefully. You've worked hard during this period. You've done very well. The young steward smiled shyly, his eyes bright, looking at me, seemingly waiting for more praise. I racked my brains. You've gotten darker. You've also gotten thinner. Your clothes are all loose. Don't worry, I see everything. When we return home I'll give you a raise. His expression visibly dropped. I was alert inside, not satisfied with a raise. Don't tell me he wants profit sharing. Let's go back to the capital. Marcus's hair and beard stood on end. Victoria, you still know to come back. Do you have me, the head of household, in your eyes? And you, Sophia, come massage my shoulders. Playing around all day, what use is that? Sophia obediently went over. Husband, I wasn't playing around. I went out with Madame to broaden my horizons. Marcus sneered. What horizons can you broaden? A few women daring to travel far. If not borrowing my fourth-rank general's name, you'd have been kidnapped by bandits long ago. I sneered. We had over 10 strong guards, flying Sterling Trading Company's banner. What does it have to do with you? Marcus raised his chin, shouting, Victoria, don't think having some loose change means you can defy heaven. Just a merchant without me, you're nothing. I was too lazy to bother with him, calling the managers of several shops in the capital to ask about business these past months. Not asking would have been fine, but while I was away, something major happened at Sterling establishments. Initially, Sterling taverns selling golden wine made lots of money, making countless other taverns jealous. They competed to copy, but Sterling's formula had been improved. How could it be easily copied? The wine they brewed always had a bitter, rough taste. The ladies and young misses naturally wouldn't buy it. So they came up with a despicable trick. Right in front of everyone, a lady drinking our golden wine suddenly foamed at the mouth and collapsed unconscious. The whole hall was in uproar. People stood up cursing, saying Sterling sold poisonous wine harming people. Recently the tavern had troublemakers daily, almost unable to do business. The tavern manager worried so much he pulled out handfuls of hair, paid big money to invite doctors to diagnose. The doctors stroked their beards, shaking their heads, telling him to invite others. The young steward consoled him after listening, patting the tavern manager's shoulder. This isn't your fault, Miss won't blame you. Then looked at me. According to my information, behind the troublemaking taverns was a vice minister, which is why they dared act so brazenly. They also bought dozens of doctors to refuse diagnosis, leaving us unable to speak though we had grievances. I thought deeply for a moment. Immediately sent people to investigate inside and outside the taverns and shops, looking for suspicious characters. I also wrote a letter asking Consort Luna to invite an imperial physician out of the palace. The letter was given to Consort Luna's sister. She made things difficult several times. I gave her lots of jewelry and treasures before she agreed. Unexpectedly, Consort Luna found ways to pass messages outside easily, but people outside wanting to see her had to wait for festivals. I also sought help from several familiar ladies. They showed difficult expressions. This matter, small if called small, big meaning making their families oppose the vice minister. Their husbands' positions weren't as high as the vice minister's. How dare they resist? The tavern business grew increasingly dismal. Newly produced wine from the winery was transported and piled in warehouses. Each passing day lost over 100 taels of silver. The reputation of Sterling Cosmetics, crystal shop, jewelry shop, and tailor shop was affected. Business also impacted. I was exhausted both physically and mentally. Marcus, seeing my dejected appearance, was very gleeful, occasionally coming to my courtyard to mock a few sentences. The steward had already investigated clearly, witness and evidence found, but self-proving innocence. Who would believe? Must have someone of high virtue and reputation guaranteed to convince everyone. Finally, the minister's younger daughter went to the palace to see Consort Luna. Consort Luna, hearing about this, invited the imperial physician out of the palace without delay. I was like a drowning person grabbing a log, quickly gathering people to beat gongs and drums before the tavern door, distributing free seeds to attract many common people to stop. The imperial physician was indeed reliable. Just placing a hand on the patient's wrist could diagnose the poison, and before the tavern door were set up several large wine jars. The imperial physician used silver needles to test each jar, confirming no poison. The steward timely brought out several witnesses proving this was instigated by other taverns hiring thugs to poison. They also brought out poison residue found at the thug's residence, matching the imperial physician's diagnosis as evidence. with complete witnesses and evidence. The results were clear, exposing those taverns' conspiracy. I scooped a ladle of wine from the jar and drank it in one gulp, saying loudly, "Sterling House does business with integrity first, conducting ourselves uprightly. We've never done anything to harm people." The previous golden wine poisoning was framed by villains. Now it's been clarified, please everyone bear witness. Some applauded to free wine distributed. Others looked skeptical, saying loudly, "You say others are villains, who doesn't know no evil, no merchant. Are you Sterling's anything good?" I said, "No evil." No merchant refers to grain merchants who after measuring grain add an extra handful on top forming a sharp point. Common people seeing merchants selling cheap are willing to buy. Sterlings do exactly this kind of honest business. A shrill voice rang out. Well said. Indeed, merchants have glib tongues. I looked up to see a grand eunuch stepping down from a carriage. I secretly worried, could that vice minister have other backing? Then heard the grand eunuch say, "Manager Sterling, don't be afraid. I'm here on the emperor's behalf to bestow rewards." The grand eunuch looked at the gathered common people, deliberately speaking lightly. During this Southtown drought, people suffered. Manager Sterling donated 100,000 bushels of millet, opened porridge distribution saving countless lives. Also opened factories employing workers, providing food and lodging, supporting over 1,000 refugees. Built an orphanage taking in over 100 abandoned children. This matter was reported by the Southtown prefect. The emperor was deeply moved upon hearing, specially writing with imperial brush to bestow upon Manager Sterling a plaque. "Bring it up." The junior eunuch indeed raised a plaque, carefully removing the red silk to reveal 4 large characters. "Benevolent merchant helping the world." The surrounding people owed. I was overjoyed beyond measure. I helped the Southtown prefect add such a large achievement, and he gifted a set of crystal stationery named Incorruptible and Upright. This old prefect really knows what's what. With the emperor's imperial brush, who would dare rely on power to bully and suppress my shops in the future? This imperial reward really suits my intentions. That day's events spread quickly among the people, spreading throughout the capital. The plaque was hung in Sterling Tavern, attracting people to come see. The tavern's business was even more lively than before. Sterling House's reputation was raised a level. Meanwhile, that vice minister who relied on power to bully others was reprimanded by the emperor for competing for profit with the people, losing all face. Marcus no longer dared look down on me, saying things like, "Lowly merchant woman." But he also didn't want to look at me directly, simply not interacting, cold as ice. I continued living my life, drinking tea and eating pastries daily, reviewing account books, then reading novels. Emma began learning martial arts with Rose. Shoulder leads elbow, elbow leads wrist, wrist leads hand, slapping people both fast and hard. Sophia had been in the household a year with still no good news in her belly, forced by Lady Margaret to drink pitch black bitter medicine. The steward returned to the capital, his complexion quickly becoming fair again, his build also more robust. Dressed smartly every day, coming to report to me. Golden wine at 2 taels per jar still can't meet demand. We've built another winery in Southtown, attracting over 1,000 workers. Southern Elephant Kingdom honey is overflowing. Should we lower the purchase price a bit? I looked at Golden Wine's profits. No need. Continue buying at the old price. In less than 3 years the price will drop. 3 years later, I brought a jar of golden wine to Princess Catherine's mansion, respectfully saying, "This servant's business buys honey at high prices from Southern Elephant Kingdom and sells grain at low prices." Southern Elephant farmers, seeing profit, all stopped growing rice nationwide, switching to honey production. Now the honey is ripe, awaiting harvest for wine brewing. This servant wishes to present this wine to the emperor. Princess Catherine heard the hidden meaning in my words, staring at me wide-eyed for a long moment, as if seeing me anew. She clapped and laughed loudly. "This is an open scheme to exhaust Southern Elephant Kingdom's grain stores. Our kingdom can win without moving soldiers. Lady Sterling truly has strategy, just being a merchant wastes such talent. After this succeeds, When the emperor rewards by merit, he definitely won't miss Madame's portion. Less than half a year later, the emperor assembled troops to attack south. Marcus had to go on campaign again. Before leaving, he held Sophia's hand affectionately. "Sophia, when you give birth to a son, I'll promote you to legal wife. I'll earn military merit on the battlefield to get you the title of noble lady, definitely making you infinitely glorious." Sophia said reluctantly, "Husband returning safely is all that matters. What importance are those other things?" Emma was eating sunflower seeds, pretending to speak in Marcus's voice. "Sophia, I'll definitely never fail you in this lifetime." Sophia was moved to tears. Emma rolled her eyes, spat out a seed shell with a puff, clapped and left. Indeed, half a year later Marcus brought back a third woman. "Isabella is my true love." I understood, nodding, skillfully lifting my bottom, preparing to inventory my property. "Madam, I want to take another concubine." I put my bottom down confused, picking my ear. "What? 4 people to make a mahjong table?" Marcus hugged Isabella, smiling proudly. "Just afraid Madam would be bored at home, finding another companion for you. Isabella truly loves me, doesn't care about status. If Madam has no objections, let's pick an auspicious day to bring her in." Isabella shyly nestled in Marcus's arms, glancing at me. "This the Madam? So scary. Unlike me who only knows to love brother." Emma's mouth corner twitched. "Sister, did you get my script?" I stared at Isabella for a moment, stood up and walked out. "I'll give you the legal wife position. Marcus, let's divorce today." Marcus was bewildered, wanting to stop me. "Madam, if you have something to say, say it slowly. Why always want to divorce at the drop of a hat?" Emma was startled, pushed Marcus away hard, quickly chasing after me. "Fa and Nodum." Not knowing when, Sophia also appeared at the main door, coldly watching everything. She threw down the medicine bowl in her hand hard. "I'll also follow, Madam." Suddenly she seemed to remember something, striding to Marcus, raising her hand to slap him twice, saying bitterly, "Ungrateful, shameless scoundrel." Marcus was slapped dizzy, about to get angry when I had already quickly jumped on the carriage and sped away. On the carriage, Emma lifted the curtain looking back. Sophia stood there dazed. I quickly told the driver to go to Princess Catherine's mansion. Princess Catherine had been very close to me since the wine gifting incident. Seeing my panicked expression, she held my hand asking, "Lady Sterling, don't panic. What happened? I'll help you solve it." I quickly clarified the relationship. "I've already divorced Marcus, no longer Lady Ashford." Marcus's newly married woman had big ear holes, lip piercings, neck marks, not like a Central Plains person. Marcus, being crude, doesn't understand women's fashion. "I do business everywhere and recognize these as marks from Southern Elephant Kingdom, noble women's jewelry." That woman was probably a Southern Elephant spy. After pushing the matter to Princess Catherine, I quickly took the divorce papers to the Yamen to register, and had the steward lead several strong men to the Ashford house to move my dowry and property back. That divorce paper was signed by Marcus when he wanted to marry Emma. I'd always carefully kept it, now it finally came in handy. With it, the steward could openly go to the door and directly clean out the Ashford house. Marcus naturally wouldn't agree. My steward wasn't easy to bully either. How the two fought, I no longer cared. After handing over everything, I finally breathed a sigh of relief, returned to Sterling House and slept soundly. When I woke up, my father was sitting plop on my bed, looking wronged. "Daughter, why did you divorce and even bring back the concubines?" But that's my Sterling daughter, never making losing deals." I smiled widely. "Of course." Father rubbed his hands. "You said before Marcus was handsome. Why not borrow his seed to have children before divorcing? You've built such a large enterprise, today a cotton factory, tomorrow a rubber factory. Need heirs anyway." I smiled. "Father, with such a large family enterprise, how could one heir be enough?" "Don't worry, I've already cultivated over 100 people. The older ones can start working next year." Father's eyes bulged like copper bells. The orphanage built in Southtown years ago wasn't useless charity. Over 100 children. I feed them well, dress them well, hire teachers to educate them.